WCVB TV, Boston. Now, this is Newscenter 5. Coverage you can count on.
Now at 6, a Newscenter 5 exclusive. Documents show the state police were well aware of helicopter safety concerns long before the February crash that killed 4 people. From Methuen, a bonus for workers displaced by the Malden Mills fire, but it may be their last paycheck for some time. Looking behind all the numbers and dollar signs, how will consumers be affected by the Baybank's Bank of Boston merger? And the young man accused of murdering a local high school student answers charges in court. Good evening. We have some new information tonight about safety concerns raised before last February's fatal state police helicopter accident.
Newscenter 5 exclusively has obtained documents that show the Massachusetts State Police had been warned repeatedly for years by their own pilots about safety concerns. Now, this new information comes on the heels of the National Transportation Safety Board, which yesterday blasted the Massachusetts State Police for lax management, poor training, and shoddy helicopter maintenance. Newscenter 5's Jorge Quiroga now with these exclusive details.
If yesterday the National Transportation Safety Board pointed a damning finger for lax oversight and training that led to the February helicopter crash, memos obtained today by Newscenter 5 trace an even more disturbing pattern. Dating back to 1991, state police pilots repeatedly warned of a safety crisis in the air wing, but their requests for additional training were often denied. And among those routinely denying requests for added safety courses and training was Colonel Charles Henderson, now the head of the state police. The state pilots wanted more instruction in accident prevention, aviation safety management, advanced pilot training.
These people didn't receive even the basics. They had no business flying those airplanes, and the helicopter is considered an airplane. They had no business flying without the training.
Trooper James Mattaliano was killed in the February crash. Yet back in November 1991, he wrote about his safety concerns with eerie foreboding of his own death, calling his memo a final attempt to force my supervisors to act so that a possible accident can be prevented.
It's not my job to point fingers. It's my job to make sure that these issues are addressed.
But if a finger has to be pointed, who should it be pointed at?
Well, it has to be pointed at the organization.
The most damning assessment comes in March 1994 from Sergeant Richard Welby, who writes of a training crisis in the air wing. Almost predicting a disaster to come, he warns what occurs in this unit within the next year will determine if the exceptional safety record that has existed at this unit will continue. 11 months later, the helicopter crashed, killing the 4 men aboard.
It's very upsetting. You know, it is something that should have been done. Somebody failed along the line to provide this training.
Requesting more training, Welby points out at the time that, among others, Trooper Paul Perry had no advanced rating in either fixed-wing or helicopter aviation. Perry was also killed in the helicopter crash.
I was angry. I just couldn't believe that an operation could exist with total lack of procedures.
Today, the head of the state police, Colonel Henderson, was traveling out of town, but a spokesperson said the department would not comment other than to say it was aware of the memos and will consider them during an administrative review of the NTSB findings. There's been no definitive ruling as to what caused the helicopter's engine to fail, but NTSB board member John Goglia, who has been evaluating airline crashes since the 1970s, says this is one of the worst cases of management oversight he's ever seen. Natalie.
Did you get any insight from anybody today, Jorge, as to why the management ignored these warnings from their own pilots? It seems inconceivable. If pilots are saying, hey, you know, superiors, we got problems here. They just didn't ignore them. Why was that? More than one memo that, in the request, more than one request that we saw in the pile of memos that we have obtained, suggested that the requests were denied because of budget issues, that the money seemed to have been a problem. Okay, Jorge, good job. Thank you. Disturbing story. The third significant snowfall of the season's on the way. Dick Albert's tracking the storm. He's in our weather center.
Well, Natalie, it's not going to snow tonight, nor will it affect the morning commute to any great degree. That's the good news. Let's look at the latest radar, and we will see that the snow is encroaching on western Pennsylvania down through Virginia. But as I said, it looks like for your morning commute, it'll just be generally cloudy and on the cold side with temperatures in the teens and 20s. It could be some ocean effect snow in Cape Ann region down on the South Shore, but the main snow belt should hold off until around 9 to noon. Now, after that, things are going to get much messier tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, and I'll talk about that in about 10 minutes. Natalie?
All right, Dick, thank you. Tonight, 8 victims remain in critical condition in the wake of the devastating fire at the Malden Mills complex in Methuen. Today, the fire continues to smolder in the mill complex. At the corporate headquarters, a flag waves expressing the optimism amid the destruction of this blaze. And today, workers lined up to pick up what for many of them could be a final paycheck, at least for a time. Newscenter 5's Jack Harper has the latest now in this live report from Methuen. Jack?
Natalie, it's obvious behind us that glow in the sky is not from lights. It's from the fire that continues to burn. Amazingly, on and on it goes, and it could be days before the teams can get in there and really take a good look at the boilers where the fire is believed to have started. For many of these burned out workers, this was payday, but while they left with a check, there was still an empty feeling. The last payday, at least for a while, at Malden Mills. The next check for many of these workers will be unemployment. Sam Ravella is trying to put together a decent Christmas anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for a lot of people. A lot of people.
You hopeful with Christmas coming up with the little guy and all that?
Oh, yeah, he's all set.
On the other side of Knights of Columbus Hall, an emergency center, one-stop shopping, offering help in many areas. One of the busiest, the Red Cross table, where Alexis Baez is signing up for toys for his daughter, Stephanie. So you were going to do your Christmas shopping this week?
Yes, with my paycheck. Now I came because I had to hold this paycheck for my bill, rent.
Yeah.
You know.
In addition to all the obvious pressures, many here are hurting inside, hurting for friends and co-workers still hospitalized. Lydia Medina says her husband hasn't been the same since the fire, and she thinks he's going to need help.
I do see him crying, you know. He's like, he can't stay in one place, you know. It drives me crazy, you know. So I see him doing that, and my kid, he sees him suffering, crying and everything. It's hard to cope with it, you know.
Back at the mill, owner Aaron Feuerstein, despite the bleakest of backdrops, he still plans to resume some production within 30 days, and in a few months believes most workers should be back, but perhaps not all.
Surely 2/3 of the people. Hopefully we're working on the last third now, and we'll figure that out as well.
Despite universal public confidence in Feuerstein, union leaders say they've gotten hundreds of calls from workers concerned they might not all be back.
I told them it won't be the same, it'll be better, and I believe that.
Mr. Pelletier and a lot of other union leaders seem to feel they have the right to be that optimistic because if they've worked with the management here, they say it works like a marriage here. And he says that it's a good marriage. It's been so far anyway. Tomorrow there'll be more meetings. They plan to get together to talk about compensation for the workers, and perhaps then many of them will learn how long they're going to be off the job. Live in Methuen, I'm Jack Harper, News Center 5. Natalie, to you.
Thanks, Jack. Bernard Cardinal Law is urging Boston residents to help out the victims of the Malden Mills fire. The Cardinal has authorized parishes throughout the greater Boston area to take up special collections for the fire victims this Sunday and next Sunday during Mass. The proceeds will be channeled through Catholic charities.
A Boston teenager is being held without bail tonight for last month's murder of an honors student, Barrington Nevins. 17-year-old Anthony Robinson pled not guilty to murder at his arraignment today. Prosecutors say Nevins was shot to death after he refused to hand over his sneakers and leather jacket. Some of Nevins' friends helped identify Robinson as the suspect.
They identified the individual with the .22 caliber rifle as Ant, A-N-T. They also selected the defendant's photograph out of a photographic array.
Prosecutors say Robinson confessed that he was the triggerman in Nevins' murder.
Still to come, how will the merger of Bay Bank and Bank of Boston affect you? Mark Mills takes a closer look.
Plus, a leaky situation prompts the MWRA to take action on building a long saltwater tunnel.
Come to Woodworker's Warehouse, where you'll find more discounted power and hand tools under one roof than you've ever seen before. Like this DeWalt biscuit joiner kit with adjustable tilt fence. Includes carbide blade, dust bag, and heavy-duty steel carrying case, just $234. Or this Makita 8 1/4-inch portable table saw with carbide tipped blade. delivers smooth cuts in the shop or on the job site. Regular $349.95, now only $319.95. With over 90 locations throughout the Northeast, at Woodworkers Warehouse, you'll always find the right tool at the right price.
Out in the turquoise sea, somewhere between your imagination and what's real, there is an island, Barbados, just beyond your imagination. For information, call us or your travel agent.
What do you see?
Just a bunch of stuff from Staples.
A brother label maker. I could use that. All right, a brother fax. Oh, a brother printer. A water gun.
Busted.
Get Brother products at the guaranteed low price and 6,000 other great gift ideas. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Progresso reinvents chicken soup? Introducing Progresso white meat chicken soups. Made with only tender, luscious white meat. Only 100% seasoned white meat for an enticing flavor that gives each and every Progresso chicken recipe its own distinctive taste. New Progresso white meat chicken soups, unveiling a whole new way to enjoy chicken soup that's totally delicious. Totally Progresso.
Ted Boykin is a salesman, a dynamite salesman. He could sell a plate of ribs to a woman wearing white gloves. And if you ask Ted about his new Audi A4, he'll sell you in a second. He'll rhapsodize about its sporty yet elegant design, impress you with its German engineering, and put the hammer down with its affordable price. Yeah, Ted would love to tell you all about his A4, as long as he isn't on the job. The new A4, available wherever Audi cars are sold.
Popcron is back. Check out the latest in facial wear and eat all these nachos if you dare. Read children's books that tend to scare. Popcron tonight. See you there.
You're watching Newscenter 5 at 6. Coverage you can count on with Chet Curtis, Natalie Jacobson, meteorologist Dick Albert, and Mike Lynch on sports. Now, Newscenter 5 continues.
The merger of Bay Banks and Bank of Boston, which we reported first yesterday afternoon, is big news in the business community. And if you're a customer, it could mean some changes for you. Tonight, your money reporter, Mark Mills, takes a closer look at what kind of changes you can expect as two of Boston's biggest banks join forces.
The top executives of Bank of Boston and Bay Banks couldn't have been more enthusiastic than they were at the merger announcement. But the deal calls for closing 85 branches and eliminating 2,000 jobs. Outside the Bay Bank Central Square branch in Cambridge, bank customers were worried about both the workers and bank services.
As a pure kind of cold business decision, it may make a lot of sense. It's just going to be tough for the workers.
I was thinking of putting a lot of people out of work, but this bank right here, I hope that, everything will be working good here and keep this manager here because Miss Mary Wilson, she's very good.
I bet it's going to mean better service at a lower price. I'm assuming that's what they do.
Basically, it doesn't really affect my life, but on the whole, it's slightly more convenient.
Some cutbacks are inevitable. For example, here on Route 16 in Wellesley, Bank of Boston and Bay Bank have been friendly rivals, but clearly one of them is history. By closing branches and cutting jobs, Bay Bank of Boston says it will lower its operating costs. That's bad news for the workers losing their jobs, but some of those savings could eventually be passed along to consumers.
The question is, who gets those benefits? Do those benefits go to consumers, or do they go to shareholders in the banks in the form of higher profits? The answer is some of each. In the long run, it's got to benefit consumers because you've got a product being produced at lower cost in the presence of competition.
And there is still plenty of competition in banking despite all the mergers. If the mega banks forget their smaller customers or jack up rates and fees, consumers can head for smaller community banks.
I don't worry about absence of competition in this business. There's plenty of it out there, and as a competitor, we love it, but we're very alert to it and watch it very carefully.
And banks are also getting plenty of competition from outside of banking, mutual funds and brokerage houses with money market checking accounts, finance companies, mortgage companies, and groups like AT&T with their own credit cards. Customers still have plenty of choices, but they do have to do more homework to find out what's out there and what's best for them.
At the very least, nothing's going to happen for at least 6 months in this merger.
Yeah, they're talking about 6 months. The shareholders have to vote on this, and the regulators, both state and federal, have to look it over.
All right, Mike.
We need you more than ever. We need education, Mark. An update on a story we reported last night on Newscenter 5. The MWRA today decided to go ahead with a massive project to build a backup aqueduct for Boston. Now, the existing aqueduct, the Hultman Aqueduct, which supplies the city's drinking water, has at least 19 major leaks. The Water Authority's directors today voted to build a $530 million backup pipe. That will mean a jump in the average annual water bill from $614 to over $1,000 by the time the project is completed in the year 2002.
Coming up, Dick Albert's forecast.
Featuring, what do you think, snow and other winter wonders.
There's a place unlike any other in the United States. It's in Norwood. The Auto Mile. Infiniti, Chrysler Plymouth, Jeep Eagle, Hyundai,
dealers.
Chevrolet, Dodge, Nissan, Cadillac,
10,000
Pontiac,
cars.
Saab, Subaru, Ford, Toyota, Mitsubishi, Mazda, Volkswagen, BMW, Oldsmobile, Acura. Auto Mile. Tremendous savings every day. Route 1, Norwood.
If you're trying to decide what computer to buy, what upgrades to make, what software to buy, if you're trying to decide what's the right printer or the right laptop and what's the right price to pay, there's only one decision to make. Computer City, where you'll get SoftRAM 95. It doubles your available memory while avoiding the expense and hassle of installing hard RAM chips. Computer City, you can't make a wrong decision when you go to the right store.
How does Minolta stay on top?
Do you think that I'd zoom to Bora Bora without my new Explorer?
I can keep my little girl at any age with Minolta's Freedom Family Zoom.
I ain't know about being #1, and the max I'm through in the SI keeps Minolta on top.
This Minolta Compact can't zoom to 140 millimeters? I lied.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Buy the 90EX, and you've joined Club Minolta.
Market took a hit today.
Yes, it's tough out there.
Oh, I don't know. That bar Cheers, it's packed every night. They're doing great.
I'm sure. Anyway, that deal fell through, and we're thinking about suing.
I know a great lawyer.
Really?
Yeah, Matlock.
Matlock?
He's a little old, but he's never lost a case. Undefeated.
Some people know CNBC is the first place for business news.
Oh, time for hard copy.
And some don't. CNBC, when you're tired of tuning out, tune in.
You know, there's nothing quite like a leisurely drive in the Outback. Subaru Outback, that is. And you can bet your boots there's nothing quite like this. The amazing Outback lease. Now, that's what I call a ripper deal. Just ask your Subaru dealer about it. If they don't do you right, let me know. My no-nonsense approach can be very effective. Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Now, meteorologist Dick Albert and the Weather Center 5 forecast.
Okay, a bunch of kids call. They want to know when the snow is going to start, exactly where it's going to be, how much they're going to get, and will there be school?
I can't make that decision for them. But it looks like it's going to start after school starts, so I don't know about that situation. Boy, we're in a stormy weather pattern. We're going to get a storm tomorrow, and then one Friday late into Saturday, and probably one on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. How about that? And it's not winter yet. It arrives on the 22nd, but it's not acting that way at all. Teens in Worcester now, 22 in Portsmouth, Falmouth 20 in Boston, 26 degrees. Now to the west of us, even though the skies are clear here, there's a lot of action. Freezing rain and icy conditions from Des Moines, Iowa to Chicago, snowing in Detroit, snowing in Cleveland, moving into western Pennsylvania and near the Washington, D.C. area. And that's all going to be heading our way in the next 24 hours. It should miss the morning commute, except a couple of spots along the shoreline that get some ocean effect snow early. But by tomorrow afternoon and evening, we'll have the warm air overriding the cold air, and there'll be a band of snow spreading across New England. Now, south of Boston, that will mix with and turn to sleet and freezing rain and rain earlier than it will in the Boston area. That's probably after 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. So the afternoon and evening commute is going to be a rough one. It's going to be snowy with some icy roads. There's going to be a mix to the south of Boston with some sleet, some freezing rain, perhaps some rain, and mainly maybe south of Plymouth towards the Cape, the road should be just plain wet. But the farther to the north and west you get from there, it's going to be icy. And snowfall about 1 to 3 inches over the Cape and the islands in the South Shore. In the Boston area, 2 to 4 inches. That should pretty much do it. A couple of spots could get 4 or 5, principally along the coast where they get a little enhancement from the ocean, and north and west of the city in Worcester County up through the Berkshires, southern portions of New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, 3 to 6 inches of snow before it ends tomorrow night. All right, with all that in mind, the morning commute shouldn't be too bad. Cloudy, a few snow flurries, temperatures 18 to 24 degrees. Now, the forecast overnight calls for a clear start, clouds moving in late tonight. Temperatures as low as 4 in the colder suburbs to 15 to 20 in Boston. Then tomorrow, snowy skies, some ice and rain mixing into the south of Boston during the afternoon. Temperatures 24 to 34. And then tomorrow night, snow to the north and west, some ice too, and some rain probably as it ends in Boston. Rain or freezing drizzle. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s. And then look at this 5-day. Well, let's look at Friday first. Cloudy, 32 to 38. And on the 5-day forecast is another storm with rain, ice, or snow Friday night and Saturday. And then it's good Sunday and Monday, and then maybe another storm Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So
beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
It certainly is. We have a shot of a white Christmas
for the first time in how many years? Okay,
Anybody
Dick.
surprised? It's December.
Yeah, we don't often have a white Christmas.
No, I mean, you're not surprised about the snow or anything, are you?
By the way, in addition to the latest on the approaching storm that you will get by watching us here on Channel 5, you can also get up-to-the-minute radar and other storm tracking information by visiting us on the World Wide Web. The address is www.wcvb.com.
Okay, Patriots getting ready to go to Pittsburgh. Should be nice weather.
Should be nice down there.
That's
but
right.
neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow has been able to stop the great Curtis Martin of the Patriots this year.
Watching Oprah, Oprah, talking Oprah, Oprah.
Oprah, you inspired me to keep on trying.
Cheryl, that's what it's all about.
Oprah,
I love that makeover show.
I kind of like them too.
Watching Oprah, Oprah, talking Oprah, Oprah. New England's watching Oprah every day.
It's a war of words. Howard Stern versus Kathy Lee Gifford. What's really going on with these two? Next Inside Edition.
Tonight at 7.
Husky, guaranteed forever, and only at the Home Depot.
Just because she's my daughter, and I want to make her pain go away. Just because I know that she has to work things out for herself, her way. But I still need to let her know that no matter what's going on in her life, I'm always there for her. So I call her. Just because sometimes that's all I can do.
Merry Christmas.
Grandma, look at the tree.
Isn't it nice to know you can always count on the LL Bean catalog to have the perfect Christmas gift for everyone on your list?
While visions of sugar plums dance.
Best of all, it's probably in your house right now. The LL Bean Christmas catalog. There. Wasn't that easy?
Hey, get going. For up-to-the-minute route-specific traffic conditions, punch *1 free on your cell phone. Smart Traveler. That's commuter coverage you can count on.
Through the end of the year, drop off a coat for Rosie's Place in the Pine Street Inn and any greater Boston and southern New Hampshire Midas shop. Help us make this season a warm one.
Joe Miller's a little excited because Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only, it's Circuit City's 3-day sale. And Joe Miller's the guy with the sale tags. Save on home and car audio. Save on the best computers, too. Save on top brand appliances. And get no interest and no payments till '97 on select big screen TVs. And no interest for 6 months on all audio, video, DSS, and appliances. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only get the biggest savings of the season on big screen TVs, camcorders, car stereos, and more. It's Circuit City's 3-day sale.
Live with Mike Lynch, this is SportsCenter 5.
They call these short weeks in the NFL. The Patriots play the Steelers Saturday instead of Sunday, which creates a shorter week of preparation. And as Ed Harding reports, it brings the larger picture into focus much sooner.
The Patriots have now reached the defining hour. Saturday at Pittsburgh against the Steelers.
They're a good, solid team. They're a good, solid team.
The ifs and buts are out of the mixture. It's just if, as in, if they don't win this game, forget about anything.
We have seemed to all year been able to get up for playing against the good teams, and that's when we've played our best for the most part. So, you know, hopefully we can carry that into this game.
This game against the AFC Central Division winners, against a team that is going to the playoffs, against a team that is rather natural. This is Steeler head coach Bill Cowher, and this dog, a player's dog, left him an early Christmas present during his press conference. You see, in Pittsburgh, this is how the players treat their head coach.
We're going to keep our focus on the game at hand. That's New England.
He will also be thinking about number 28, Curtis Martin, the Patriot running back, who is from Pittsburgh.
I'm not looking at this as anything out of the ordinary or anything. You know, I just want to go home and, you know, just play a good game.
A good game against a tough defense. But remember, Martin's the AFC top rusher and has 14 touchdowns.
It's another game. You know, it's just a game that we have to go and we have to do the same thing we did last game, you know, execute and, you know, just play well.
In other words, don't stink the place out. I'm Ed Harding, SportsCenter 5.
And we promise not to stink the joint out on Patriots Preview. Pay attention, students. Special time tomorrow night at 7:30. That's because the game is at 12:30 on Saturday afternoon. And Chronicle has a special on the Ted Williams on New Tunnel on Friday night. So we'll be here tomorrow night at 7:30, Patriots Preview with Bill Parcells. Now, Hurricane Peter McNeely fought again last night in Florida. He fought against a 43-year-old orthopedic surgeon who donates his fight earnings to charity. I am not kidding. This is absolutely true. 1,400 people at the fight in Florida. The good doctor lasted only 2.5 minutes against Hurricane, and the doctor's nickname just happens to be Hacky.
The winner by technical knockout from the red corner, Hurricane Peter McNeely.
He's knocked out a lot of guys, but he's never faced a guy like Hurricane Peter McNeely.
Peter McNeely's got a lot of quickness there, and he's going to go a long way, I think. I don't think anybody looks too good against Mike Tyson.
The good doctor.
The good doctor.
Must have hands of steel.
I wonder if he knows a psychiatrist. Anyway.
Hacky, what a nickname, huh?
Okay, we will be back after this Channel 5 editorial.
Imagine you earn $20,000 a year, too much to qualify for Medicaid, but unable to pay the $6,000 it will cost for an individual health insurance policy to cover you and your kids. Over 500,000 people in this state are in such a fix. Governor Weld wants to use some of the hospital-free care pool to give credits to employers who offer insurance and to subsidize worker premiums. That's worth exploring. Another approach is a House bill that would require HMOs and other insurers to live by the same rules, to take all comers, limit waiting periods for coverage, and renew policies even if a person's health changes. This creative approach could bring us much closer to the goal of health care access for all.
That's our news in a Channel 5 editorial. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and evening.
Peter Jennings is next, ABC's World News Tonight. We'll be back tonight at 11. Thanks for being with us. Good night.
Have a nice evening.